All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Always Ready Lending. Let's do this. It's 3 o'clock. Let's get it going. First thing that I would like to do, it looks like it's a small group. I would like to do some introductions if possible. So I get to know a little bit what you do and about your business. So I'm gonna start it off with Amber.
Hello. My husband and I actually are getting ready to open up a vintage and antiques and random whatever else we throw in there shop in Madrid that's located right next to Highway 17 and the High Trestle Trail.
Awesome. What do you expect to get out of this class, Amber?
Just understanding if there are options out there and yeah. I tried to join, I think it was like a month ago at this point, but there was some technical difficulties with someone who was in the
Oh,
class.
what did we meet?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So hoping this time's a little smoother for us.
I know. Me too, me too. Let's go with Tiffany that is moving around. Thanks, Amber. You're on mute, Tiffany.
Sorry.
Oh, you're
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm looking into opening a Thai restaurant. Been looking to how to start, but never know how to get started.
sounds good. How about Kevin?
Hey guys, Kevin. I am looking to buy pre-existing businesses, so looking for additional finances. Obviously, would love to have seller financing, but looking for additional capital to continue to buy service-related businesses here in the Iowa City, Cedar Rapids corridor. So, seeing if this is
Awesome.
an option to continue expansion.
Awesome. How about April? Let's move to Samantha.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm
there's April. There you
just
go.
mute. I apologize. Hi, my name is April. I have an existing property. I have one duplex that I bought. I've been managing it since 2020. I have hit a roadblock, so I'm trying to expand my business and I'd like to buy more properties. I've got other things that I'm working on that are small businesses, but this is primarily the one to kind of um, look at ways that I can um, free up some funds to be able to buy more here in the next couple of years, things of that nature. So,
Hey, awesome. And then we have Samantha.
Hi, Jose. I'm here to observe as well as learn about my own LLC and lending and see how the process works with the Iowa Center.
Can you tell us what you do?
Uh, Motley Photography. I have a existing business. It's a photography studio, traveling studio in a way. It's on location, and in the future, I actually would like to get a studio.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about your other, what else you do? Do you where else do you
Yeah,
work?
and I work with you, you and Chassis.
Samantha is one of our service coordinators. So she's here observing. How about Chassis?
Hi, I'm Chassie. I am actually the senior loan officer with the Iowa Center. So I'm just here to kind of observe and learn more about your guys' businesses, and hopefully we'll get to work together in the future.
Awesome. That's the person. That's the right person right there. That's the person you guys need to talk to, not me. And next one is Jason, and then we'll kick it off. Jason, one, two, three. I'm going to start the presentation then because
Hello there. Sorry, I was having a little technical issue there.
no, that's okay. Jason, can you tell us about your business?
Yep. So I have started about 2 years ago a small business run out of my home with another person that helps me part-time, doing small business accounting and consulting for businesses usually under 50 employees. And I have clients in California, Oregon, Arizona, South Carolina, Georgia, New York, Iowa. So all of
Are
those.
you here in Iowa?
Yes, I am. I'm based near Carroll.
That's awesome. That's
So,
good. We have an accountant in the room, so that's good.
well,
It's good. All right, well, I'm sorry, let's get it started. A little bit about me. I'm Jose Benales. I'm the Director of Credit and Lending here at the Iowa Center. I oversee the Credit and Lending Department. We have a couple of products in our Credit and Lending Department that we offer to small businesses, and with that, we do also technical assistance. So, and I'll talk a little bit about our loans here in a moment, but I want to tell you about the Iowa Center. So the Iowa Center, we have three priorities, and it's education, capital, and networking. And the first one, is education. That's why you guys are here. I think it's important to stay educated, to make sure that we have all of the resources that we need to make better financial decisions when it comes to our business. We have several different classes that we offer on a monthly basis, and Always Ready is a series that we offer, and Always Ready has 6 different classes, and lending is one of them. Um, then we have access to capital. What business doesn't need access to capital to be successful? So at the Iowa Center, with the education, we're preparing you to have access to capital, but we are also an SBA micro lender and a CDFI, meaning that we're a certified development financial institution that is able to provide um, lending needs to small businesses. And then we want to create your network. That's why you guys are here. We want to make sure that we connect you with the right people. So if you guys need, anything as far as if you need a CPA, if you need a real estate agent, if you need an attorney, we want to make sure that we're connecting you with those people, or we're connecting you with the local government, such as cities, counties, things like that, to make sure that we're providing you with all the resources and that you know the right people for your business. And also to create some COIs. The overview for this class, we're going to talk about lending, things to stay ready, some of the questions that you need to ask yourself before applying for any access to capital. We'll talk about the Iowa Center loans. We'll talk about some calculators, the 5 C's of credit, and we'll go from there. So let's start with, why do we need access to capital in a business? Different things, right? We can come up, it can be cash flow issues, it could be startup, it could be that you're hiring a new employee, it could be that you need equipment, marketing, you name it. There's so many things that you can do that you need in your business. And sometimes you don't have the money for it, so you have to either get a loan, get a line of credit, ask for some investors, or try to find a grant, which is really difficult right now. So the first question is, what do I need the money for? How much do I need? You have to create that budget for the project that you have. So every time that you go to a financial institution to ask for money, you gotta have a project. You gotta have a big business plan. You gotta have a budget for that. So how long until I need to pay back? How much can I afford on a monthly base? That's what's going to tell you you know, kind of what the terms that you're looking for some financing. Um, the current financial shape of your business is very important. It's very important to know the current financial shape of your business because no one is going to lend you money when you're struggling. So, and I'm going to be clear, I've been in the business for so many years. Sometimes when we're in a good financial situation, we don't like to ask for money, but that's probably the best time to ask for money. We see it on a daily basis, cash flow is becoming an issue. It's becoming an issue because the economy. So some businesses are coming to us for lending that have cash flow issues that they didn't have before, but they didn't have a line of credit, for example, and they could have gotten a line of credit before. So it's kind of like a insurance thing. It's good to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Um, so what collateral do I have? When you go asking for money, when you're trying to finance something, the financial institution are going to ask you for some type of collateral. So creating some collateral is important. How soon do I need that money? If we look at doing, for example, an SBA loan, it might take longer than doing a in-house loan at a financial institution. It just depends, you know, when you're going to need that money, how the project is going to look like. Um, and it's very important to know your personal credit, how it looks like, because you're always going to be a guarantor for your business. You're always going to be that um, guarantee for that business. If you are not the guarantor for your business, why us as a financial institution are going to lend you money if you don't believe in your business? So personal credit, it is very important. Um, so those are some of the questions. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. Make sure to ask questions. You can just put it in the chat and then we'll go over all the questions at the end. Let's talk about the Iowa Center loans. So here at the Iowa Center, we can do lending up to 100,000, and it's going to be based on the availability of funds. The interest rate is a 6% fixed interest rate, no matter your credit. If you have 600, well, it matters. The credit has to be, at least 600. But even if you have 650 credit score or you have 820, it's going to be the same rate, 6% interest rate. We believe that it's a good rate for you to start. It's below market rate. That's why we do what we do, because we believe in small businesses, and we also provide you with the technical assistance for these funds. Up to 5 years maximum long term. We have some flexibility there to maybe go to 6 or 7, but we'll try to keep it at 5 years. There is no prepayment penalty for our loans. Origination fees are paid in advance, or we take it out of your distribution at the end, the distribution of funds at the end. Again, I talked about personal guarantee. You as the owner, anyone that is 25% or more has to be on the loan. And there will be a personal guarantee for that business. It cannot be used for real estate purchase. That's one of the things that we cannot do. And I know that April asked about, the roadblocks about maybe looking for some access to capital for your business. It doesn't mean that it cannot be, we can do loans for remodeling, for example, but it cannot be to purchase a property, a real estate. And it cannot be involved in any adult entertainment industry or lending to others. So within this, we also have the SBA microlending. We do the same thing, but it's only $50,000 that we can offer as well. And that's an SBA product. And the SBA you can see everything, all your accounts through the SBA, and it's the same rate, pretty much. Other ways to access, funds is that we partner with financial institutions. 50,000 or 100,000 is not that much now these days for small businesses. So we like to partner with banks that can do a bank loan or a line of credit. And we can also partner with them and do the extra that is needed. When we do this, we see that it becomes better for the client because they have two different sources of funds, and we're going to be that kind of cheap side of the thing, of the loan, and then the banks is going to go with the other side. We've done it like with SBA loans. The last one that I remember that we did, it was a veterinary, a vet that she borrowed about close to $1 million, and we help out with 100K. So to start her business. So that's for example an idea that we can work through with your bank or with your financial institution. So the use of funds for our loans are, to generate more working capital, invest in new employees, to buy inventories and supply, purchase equipment, fix up your business space, April, for remodeling, for example, and to market your business. There are other ones, but we can go into more details when we go into a one-on-one when we decide that you're ready for an application. It's important to know how much you're gonna pay. One of the questions we talked about, how long do I have until I pay? How much can I pay per month? So just using a regular bank rate calculator, make sure if you need $50,000, 5 years, 60% at 3%, that's how much it's gonna cost you. We do a lot of $50,000 loan, and 5 years at 6% is $970, something like that. So it is important to put that in your budget when you're doing your budget, to include that new loan. So let's talk about some of the things that we looked here at the Iowa Center when we're looking at, doing a loan. Your history, your experience. If you're going to go into, a Thai restaurant, for example, Tiffany, we want to know what your story and your experience is in the restaurant industry. Not only that, but also when we pull credit, we want to see what type of person you are, and fortunate and unfortunately, your credit, when we pull credit, it's going to tell us what your past is and what your experience with credit is as well. So that's what is, important to have that credit history, which we require now. Active collections, medical collection are allowed to a certain point, and the credit cannot be below 600. And if it's 600, we might need some explanations there. But I'll tell you right off the bat, 600, when we see a credit of 600, is because it needs some work. And that's something that we'll work with you. We will create a plan for you to get back on track where you need to be, to come back to us or to any financial institution, to ask for access to capital. Then, I talked about credit and history there, the capacity and cash flow. Do you make enough money to pay all of your bills plus the new loan? For a startup, is we use the current income that you have. We look at projection, but we're looking at that current income that you have right now to see if you fail, if you can go back and still pay that loan. For existing businesses, we just look at your financial statement, tax returns. We would just want to make sure that you are making enough money to pay everything. We don't want to put anyone in the burden of debt that doesn't need it, because then we're not doing our job. The capital contribution, I think it's important to see what is your capital contribution. to the business, it's that skin of the game. It's not only the personal guarantee that you're doing, but it's also what is that capital injection that you're putting into your business? What's your business net worth? Tell me about your assets. What are your liabilities? So it is important to us to know that it's just your commitment to your business and how able are you to take that risk. And then we'll talk about collateral, for all of our loans, I would say 98% of our loans don't have a collateral per se. The only thing that we do is a UCC, all assets UCC filings, and Chassis is amazing at doing those. So if you don't pay, we'll go against your assets, that's for sure. Your business assets, not your personal, but your business. So now thank goodness we haven't done that yet since I've been here for 4 years. So and I started this program. And it's because we work with you. We want to work with you. We want to make sure that you're successful. And that's what we do, a really good vetting process at the beginning before we submit an application and while we're going through the application process. What do we need to have ready? What are some of those documents that we need to have ready? Of course, a valid ID. It could be a driver's license, it could be an ID. We want to make sure that it's valid. How many times have we here at the Iowa Center have had clients that have submitted their driver's license, and when we look at the driver's license, it's expired and they didn't know. So it happens, we just want to make sure that if you want to apply for a loan, that you're looking at your driver's license or your ID to make sure that it's still valid, that it's not expired. We ask for pay stubs. We want to see how much do you make, at least 2 pay stub. When I say at least 2 pay stub, we want to see 30 days of income in your pay stub. Any other proof of income, it is important for us to know retirement, Social Security, child support, any other benefits. One thing to take into consideration is that if you are getting unemployment, that is not a source of income for us. Tax return, all the pages. When I say all pages is because we need all pages of your tax return. We typically ask for 2 years of tax return, the last two years of tax return, bank statements, last 3 months. If you're existing business, we need your personal and your business. Again, all pages. Most current utility statement for your home or your business. You mostly require this is because we're only able to do lending in the state of Iowa on people that are residents of Iowa. Your business documentation, if you're a sole proprietor, if you're a corporation, we need articles of incorporation. If you're an LLC, articles of organization, we're always going to double check that with Iowa Secretary of State. And something that I didn't put here is something that Chassis will get mad at me if I don't ask for, which is the operation agreement that you have in your business, because we need to know who are going to be the signers and the owners of your business. Did I get that right, Chassis?
Yes, and then for corporations, it would be bylaws.
There you go. And then, your tax ID, we need that EIN number, and then a detailed list of what you're going to use the funds for. So if you have all those documents, then, what we can do. Here's a little bit of a startup. I'm going to send this at the end of this class. I'm going to send the deck. These are what you need if you're a startup or your existing business. But then after you have that, let me see if I can get to that one. We'll just go to the loan triage, right? If you have all the documentation, then you're gonna sit down with Chassis or myself. It's gonna be mostly Chassis, and we're gonna discuss your business. What's the plan? Why do you need this fund for? And then we're gonna submit an application. The more that we know as the lender, the better for us to tell the story to our loan committee, because it's not only about the numbers, it's also about the story. It's also about, how many jobs we're gonna create, how this project is gonna impact the economy. So the more that we know, it's better. So I'll go back here. Well, when we're looking then in the numbers side, we're gonna look at what is called debt service cover ratio, and that's super simple. It just shows the business have enough income to repay the debt. The IO Center, what requires is a 1.25 ratio, and the calculation to for us to be able to take it to loan committee. And then loan committee will decide on what to do for that loan, if we approve it or not, or if we have to take it back because we need to make some changes. But it's pretty simple. It's just your your debt divided by your income. That's how you get it. Um, so important to know is that we require projection, but we're not using projection as source of income. We're not looking at that future and it's like, oh yeah, Jason, you're gonna make $1 million this year. We're not gonna look at that because we don't know if that's gonna happen. We're gonna look at what's happening now. So I think that's pretty much what we do here at the Iowa Center. The other thing is we can work with you. Like I said, we have technical assistant and we can work with you to putting all these documents together, to put in a good business plan to provide to a financial institution that also is naming the Iowa Center as bringing more capital injection to your project, where we can work as, combined lenders to make your needs happen. So I think the next step, is just to have a one-on-one. If you, like I said, we're gonna send this deck, but you can click, or you can click here when I send the deck, or you can go to our website and schedule an appointment. And you schedule an appointment with our service coordinator, Jennifer or Samantha, and they're gonna go through a series of questions, make sure that you have all the documentation. And if you have all the documentation, then you go to Chassis, and Chassis will do that triage, and then we'll submit an application. We want to make sure that we're submitting a good application because the timing is going to matter. And then we'll go from there. If you don't have all the documentation, then we can put you in contact with some of our coaches to create that documentation. Sometimes it's a matter of not having a business plan, or not having those projections, or not having a budget. We have some coaches over here that can help you out with that. We talked about the loan triage. Once you meet with Chassis and you go to that loan triage, Chassis will send you a link to the application, and that's where you're going to upload all that documentation. And we'll go from there, and then we'll make the magic happen. I want to talk about time frame and expectation. This is a hard one. Like, I put this together and I don't like it because I don't I don't like to give you the timing, because it's we put the ball in your court, when it comes to the documentation, when it comes to providing documentation. We'll stay in contact with you, but usually, it takes 2 weeks for a client to submit all the documents. That's what we had seen in the past. We do a 1 week extension, 2 weeks for the documents to be reviewed by Chassis, just to make sure that you have all the documentation. And then if you have all the documentation, it's sent to underwriting. And then the underwriter, it takes about 2 weeks. and I'm being super conservative with these times because I don't wanna overpromise here. And then if the underwriter has any question, we'll go back to you. And then about 2 weeks for loan review, for loan committee review, um, we have a review every 2 weeks, loan committee review every 2 weeks. So if you don't get that documentation to us on time, you might be pushed to the next loan review committee, and that can put your application back 2 more weeks. And then once we sign all the documentation, we do all the ACH agreement, everything that we need. It takes about 5 to 7 business day. I put 2 weeks here because I'm using I'm using business days, and mostly when we have loan committee and we approve something, it's on a Tuesday, so it will be the following week that you might get the funds. But we do everything ACH. Unless we're paying for an equipment or we're paying for a vehicle that you're buying, we'll send a check directly to the dealer or something like that. And then it is important also to know that all the payments that we receive, all the loan payments that you make, they're also ACH. That's a requirement for us. Let's see. Well, let's start with Chassis. Chassis, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. No.
That's awesome. Kevin, you have a great question, man. And I think that we have a class for for buying a new business soon. I don't know when it is. I think it's in March. But yeah, when you're buying a new established business, it is beneficial for us to see the financial of that business, the last 2 years financial of that business and the year today. Not only that, for yourself, it is important to have that as well. And if they can provide you with tax return, it will be better, but that's a tricky one. Sometimes you don't get it, but getting the financials is what's going to make you make your move to see if you want to buy the business or not.
That class is March 25th at 3.
Awesome. Any other questions? We have time. I'll make sure you ask some questions.
So, if you wanted to start from scratch, do you have to have like projection, the business plan create before like talking about lending, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, you want to make sure you have a plan. You have to make sure that you have, projections, startup, business plan, where you're gonna use the funds, how much you're gonna require. And I think for that, Tiffany, if that's what you need, you can start with Jennifer. Like you can just go to our website and start like right now when we finish this class, just go to the website and book an appointment with Jennifer so we can get the ball rolling and we can put you with a coach right away so you can create a business plan, projection, marketing plan, everything.
Okay, so I have to register for that too, right?
Um,
Like
you don't have to register for a class. Once you talk to Jennifer, she will put you in contact with one of our coaches, and then you will just have one-on-one with one of our coaches.
Okay.
It will be cool if you go through the class so you know.
Yeah, the class is on the 18, I believe.
If the class is on the 18, I still recommend you to talk to Jennifer so she can assign you a coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that there's a link for me to like go to after?
Let me put it here so you guys have it. Just stop. Yes. Are you guys still see my screen?
No, it's just kind of like a
It's
weird
great. Yeah, it's
gray
great.
screen.
What?
Just gray out.
Is grayed out?
Hmm.
Okay. How about that? Much better. Now you can see my face. Let me go here to the Iowa Center and send you the link to schedule an appointment here.
So do I go in and schedule with her?
With Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Um,
Yeah, yesterday I was in the class, the first class.
yeah, with
I was
Mark, the
in.
great class.
Yeah. So I kind of have the idea of what to do first because I had like stuff that I make from scratch because I used to do the restaurant before, but before that, it's my family already did everything. I just jump in and do the management, everything. But they already did like the first difficult part already.
Okay.
So now that I want to start on my own, so I don't know what to do.
Uh, we'll get you on the track. We know what,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, like I have the idea from like the class yesterday, like what you need to do first, like finally I feel a little bit like I
Well,
know something.
if you met with, Mark was the one doing the class yesterday. Let's just get you in with Jenny Virtues. She can assign you Mark as your coach, and he can help you. He can walk you through. He can walk you through the whole thing
Like with the plan.
with the plan, with the business plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Business plans and projection, he's an,
Yes.
he's
That
a,
would be the next thing that I would need help with.
it just go hand in hand, that business plan and projection.
That's good.
Um, any other questions?
I have a question. It's April. Um, so I started my business in 2020. It was like a week. I bought the duplex a week prior to when COVID hit and I lost income. So I was struggling from the start, and it's just been an accumulation over time. But I've also been in insurance for like 6 years. Recently, I just switched from account management position to a sales position, which I am actually getting unemployment, and my sales is kind of unpredictable right now because I'm just starting out. The other thing is that I do get a small base amount as a 1099 agent with them, but I have shown that I made 50 with my all of that transitioning this year. I just did my taxes and I made $75,000 between my rental property and my even on unemployment and account management, stuff like that. So what would I look like currently based on just the transition into a different, it's insurance. I'm just going from account management to and basically what I'm trying to get help with is to have cash flow because I went to go commercial and I was stuck because the interest rates were so high that they couldn't take me out of a 2.5% interest rate on my houses and flip it over to a six, like 9 or 6 or something at the time. So it's just been I've been trudging along, trying to I've been using cards because that's the only thing I had. Plus I went through the hardship program, so it's just been an accumulation of about $40,000 that I was trying to get a lot, that all in one spot to get my credit score up further and, get going in the right direction. Is that even something that you guys can help with when it comes to this?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a credit coach, or underwriter is actually a credit coach.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that there is a lot of moving parts there,
Yeah.
April, but we have to look at what you have, at the full picture. And
Yeah.
I think we can take this one offline so we don't go into the weeds and I start asking a bunch of personal questions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
April, um, would you mind, you're an insurance agent, right?
Yeah.
So you don't mind typing here your phone number so I can give you a call.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
You're a
Yeah.
salesperson. You're a salesperson, so you can type it in there for the group, so they can have a phone number for an insurance agent too. There you go.
I've got some great right now, so that'd be awesome. And I've done sales before. I have a year or two sales experience in insurance already. I just have bounced between account management and sales for the last 6 years, so it's nothing new to me.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Any other questions?
Do you just start with a coach for any kind of inquiry? So I could use some help on business valuation. This deal I'm looking at, it's like 3 different entities in one. I've never done anything like that. So that's something to start with the coach and then look for resources in the area to help out.
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. You know what? Many people ask us about the business valuation part of thing. We don't have someone per se here at the Iowa Center that does the business valuation side of things. But if you're getting the financials, the last 2 year financial, and then one good coach to sit with, it will be with Kevin or maybe myself. I mean, with Mark, maybe myself, so we can review the whole financial and see if something, was valuable for you, what we think that you should pay for. It's just us looking at the whole thing, and going back and forth. We have done it before with a handful of clients, what you are trying to do. But we don't have someone that is certified to do business valuation. It's more about reviewing the financials for that specific business.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Kevin, there is that link, and you can start right there. Jennifer is great. She'll put you in contact with one of us, like in a matter of minutes. Just awesome. Any other questions? Sam, anything to add? All group, I thank you very much for being here. We want to be a resource. Make sure that you're reaching out, that there is the link to set an appointment with Jennifer, and then we'll put you in the right track, on the right path. And then, you know, just start coming to your website and looking at our classes. We have great classes coming up. The new business, purchasing business is a good one. For example, the financial class with Mark is awesome. The marketing class with Katie is a really good one. And they're mostly small groups. If you can come here, to the office, if you're around, and you can come here to the office, even better, because you can get that one-on-one. But it's good to have a small group so you can bounce ideas. So feel free to ask any question, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you for your
wonderful
time
day.
today.
Thank you.
Appreciate the information.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.